See, or we have an extra chair in case someone decides to come later and hang out.
Yeah.
Who wanted to be a grounder?
Might happen.
At heart.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, many people want to be.
Of course, the coolest.
You know what? You are all grounders. And every person you've ever met is a grounder. I mean, as far as we know.
Yes. Yes. How's your coffees? Is that what you're drinking? Coffee?
A little coffee.
A little coffee pick me up? Nice. Share with the group next time. How's your con been?
Awesome.
Amazing. How's your con been? Yeah. How many people? It's their first one.
Wow. What? I thought for sure we had like...
No way!
Oh, that's awesome.
Wild. That's amazing. Thank you guys so much for taking your time to come share this space with us. This is really, really beautiful. Welcome to the fun.
Thanks for coming.
And this is the one to do if it's your first con, because unlike a San Diego Comic-Con or one of those larger ones, this one is obviously the most chill. You're never going to get access like this to any actor at any other con. For those of you who've been to other cons, would you agree that this one's unusual?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what separates you. It's pretty cool.
Well, I think that was the whole point. It's like, maybe we could do this a little better.
Right. And mission accomplished. Yes. So, okay, I mean, we have seen a lot of videos of the three of you, in action as grounders. And I want to know, if you weren't in the tribe that you were in, what tribe would you want to be in as a grounder if you were not your own?
I like tree crew just because I love trees.
Fair.
You looked so charming when you said that. Just because I like trees.
I really love trees. It's a weird thing. I have this 1,000-year-old oak tree on my property, and it's like, it mesmerizes me. Like, I look at it and I'm like, you've just been here for 1,000 years.
I hug trees all the time. Do you know that trees talk to each other? Isn't that the sweetest thing? My mom called me out of the blue, and I answered the phone. I don't know what was going on that night specifically, but she's like, do you know that trees talk to each other? And I was like, what's going on, Mom? And she's like, if there's a fire, the older trees, they flush the water and they send it to the younger trees to try and save the trees. And I was like, that's really cute, actually. Yeah, and then also like they release pollen if there's like pests coming, so all the trees take care of each other.
Wow. Maybe you should be in tree crew.
Yeah, it sounds like I should be in tree crew too.
Which crew was the water crew?
Flow
Flow crew.
Flow crew.
I think that more would.
That would be my next choice, yeah.
Is that separate than Luna's boat crew? Float? Is float?
That's
Luna's
it,
float,
right? Wasn't it?
She was float crew? Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, you guys. I didn't
Yeah.
watch the show again.
Get it
Sorry.
together, Jen.
Nice. I mean, honestly, I put my clipboard away. I have asked you all the silly questions I'm going to ask you, so y'all can line up and ask these three anything about their characters or their other shows, projects, children breaking televisions, whatever you need to know. Zach's got answers. Tim.
Yes, I have no answers.
Hi, this is for the all three grounders. If you got a character, if you got to choose a character, what would
That's how we feel on set when we can't remember our lines. We're like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might have to do a little blooper because I might watch your blooper clips.
That's okay.
Okay.
Take your time.
Okay. If you got to choose a character, what would you pick to be a grounder?
Well.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Like if we could be a different one, like if we got to choose.
Yeah, you get to choose.
Yeah, I want to be Indra.
Ooh, yeah.
I want to be Indra so bad. I feel like if Amori was able to just grow up, in society, she would have been like, this is it. This is going to be my life. I'm going to command. I'm going to lead.
In this moment, I feel like I would be Luna, because you and Luna had the craziest fight scene ever. And I was there that night and they wrapped me out and, you know, we have long days. So when they're like, you're done for the day because you have to be back at 3 a.m. later, you're kind of like, okay, I should probably go home and sleep. But I couldn't leave. Like, that fight sequence was so epic. I was just sitting there like, whoo, pull up the popcorn. Like, it was so epic and beautiful.
Yeah, I played Rome.
Fair.
Hi guys. My question is, how hard is it to learn the Grounder language?
It is insanely hard. In fact, you can all practice this. Like, you could just go home and try to memorize one of those monologues or like a long scene, and or just even any language that you don't speak. Just try to memorize a sentence in that language, or you know, a number of sentences. Because what happens is you actually just memorize it syllable by syllable, and it's not easy. It's like the amount of time you devote to that in comparison to, like, you know, a line in English is probably like 10 to 20 times more. Yeah.
And you know what else too, is you have to memorize it so well, because depending on what your character is doing and what kind of emotion, like it might be in the middle of a fight and then you have to deliver a line. So there's adrenaline coursing through you and you're sweating and you're out of breath, and then here you go, here's your line, and you're like, well, that's down in my head, I can't remember what that was. So you have to know it really, really well.
Let's see if I can pull up. It says we would get these like,
Slip high hippo down. Check them out.
we would get these voice.
Dance. Trying to slip high hippo down. Check and out.
Actually, go.
They were trying to kill me.
What does it mean, trying to kill the king? Check him. So we would get these, you know,
And
things.
teach him up how as getting a squid hand out. Gonna click a leader.
Don't know what that means.
Right? Isn't that wild? And you would just sit there and you would just be like saying it over and over again. But like you said, when you're like all emotional, and if you're like walking in, you have to like put your sword away, and then like you put your sword away and it just like falls on the ground, and you're like, yeah, like that, you know, like putting your sword in your
Almost never makes it.
never makes it in.
In fact, actually, the one time I got it into the scabbard once in the like final stuff, but early on, I would just, like when I had it back here, I would just put it back there and drop it on the ground.
You told me that. So I remember being like, you have moments where you're trying to look all cool, and then you put the sword there, and it's not going in the thing, and you're just kind of stuck there, and you're like, sometimes I just go like this, and I let it drop on the ground.
I'm like, it just drops out of frame. And really, you were like, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, they can just cut the sound of it clanking on the ground. That's like, and I'll just pretend that it happened.
And you just hold the face.
It's very serious.
I just think it's
Spilling all the secrets, eh?
I just think it's super cool. David Peterson, who created Dothraki for Game of Thrones, he's an amazing master of language. He creates all these amazing languages for shows. What a job,
Right? Like how does, like, I actually remember talking to him, and I was like, it was like, we were like at like a party and drinking. I was like, how does one become the like writer of, like the creator of languages? And he's like a linguist, and he's got like a serious career, and then he's got like this thing he does on the side where he just creates languages for television shows.
Cha-ching, good for him.
And it's like, this language though is very fun. Like, I loved it. Like, I was like, write me more. I just wanted to speak it all the time.
Who did you? I remember when you get on the show too, you gotta like I get to watch previous seasons and see what people were doing with Trig, right? And I was like, you'd watch that and like be like, that person's kind of got a little bit of a Jamaican sound going on. And then you're just trying to pick like how it's supposed to go and what it's supposed to be. And I was like, oh, but they're in a different crew. Maybe that crew has a different accent, and like that's the Boston accent up here, and this is the California sound.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
There's actually people in the audience who have tattoos with Trig sayings from the show.
I love that.
It's very cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take your time.
Alright, on a lighter note, what was your, I know you mentioned this before, but what was your guys' favorite moment from set?
I'm trying to remember.
There's so many. We were just standing backstage and we were all talking about how this show is really special in that, like, the actors and you guys, like, it feels so, we're so blessed to know each other and have so much natural camaraderie and you know, chemistry or whatever, that, like, literally just showing up at work while, you know, it was exhausting and there was things and it was difficult for a certain, it might be freezing cold, whatever it was, but, like, we were all there together, we had so much fun. And here's Jerry.
Oh, hey! Here, let me move on down.
Yeah! Let's have a sleepover!
Zach, go down.
We're all here.
Welcome back.
Chris is here with a sandwich.
There we go. Is it a tongue sandwich? If you were on the panel earlier, you would understand that joke.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Luis is like, I'll answer the question.
Thank you for sharing what you did. It means a lot to me. It really, really does. And it's always been very important to me that Maury is representative of everyone who feels that she's a part of them. So thank you very much. Thank you. I think I agree about favorite moments. Like, there were just so many. I mean, I think the one that comes to mind is it was near the end of the show. I think I already mentioned this, and a bunch of us were in a tent, just playing a game, and we could tell that emotions were running high because we were getting near the end of the show. And we started cheering and screaming every time someone would get, like, you had to come up with an answer, and every time someone got it, we would cheer if it was a tense moment. We weren't sure if they were going to get it. And the crew actually started coming over and being like, what the heck are you guys doing? It sounds like there's a soccer game going on over here, or like a football game. Like, you need to shut up. We're trying to set up over there. That was a really fun moment. But we had so many times like that, just special moments of camaraderie.
Ditto.
What they said.
Thank you. Oh, look, it's Paula.
Also a grounder.
I was wondering if you were the last human on Earth. If you were the last human on Earth, what do you think you would be doing?
If you're the last human on Earth, what would you do?
You're the only one.
If you're the only one.
I'd have sex with a gorilla.
What did you say?
If I was the last human on Earth, I would try to make more whatever we could. And the nearest thing would be some sort of, like, ape of some sort that I'd have to try to, like, you gotta try to make life go on.
Zach McGowan. I don't know if I should clap for that.
That's so funny. At the end of the day. We came here for this.
I feel like you have a saucy response coming up.
No.
Are you just
I
cooking
honestly,
it?
my brain went,
I was like, I would just walk through Costco.
And there's a Costco in this
well,
one?
yeah, the world's over, but Costco exists.
So that's it, the world ended today. And there's still Costco?
Right.
Oh, man.
Like if anything exists, yeah.
Chelsea, do you really think if the world's over, you need to buy in bulk at that point?
We don't mind, just to gallivant down. Yeah.
Okay.
About TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx.
I'd buy my gorillas some great stuff.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Paula. Stay away from Zach, maybe.
Okay, so mine is kind of like a follow-up to the very end from Zach's panel. The last question you got was somebody asked if you would like shave your head or cut your hair for a role. My question after that is, so what hair products do you actually use? And of course, everybody can answer.
All right, well.
I was curious.
Yeah, right. Honestly, not much. I use conditioner but like, just kind of like whatever one is around.
Such a guy.
And you know, like when I'm at home, my wife has all kinds of, she got ones with this, you know, they make it silky and then body. But you know, whichever one works. One of my things is, and I know this, I don't really wash my hair.
I was actually gonna.
Never really used shampoo before. I mean, like back in the day, when I go to like get a haircut, sometimes I'll wash it, whatever, but I don't really wash my hair.
I always imagine that you would just dive into a lake and then come out and like, he's clean.
No shirt, of course.
Yeah, well, there's a little of that. But that's usually my pool. Although I just hit on my well, so I am gonna build a lake.
I would love to like curl your hair and like wash it, curl your hair,
Oh my
and
God,
just
let's do it
see
tonight.
like.
Let's
Or like
it.
do a whole glam squad stuff.
Full
Yeah.
glam squad. Yeah. You know what? You would look like your daughter.
I would if I shaved
So
my
much
head.
like you.
I know, it's really strange. I'm like, that's me as an 11-year-old girl.
So I interrupt, but space crew is needed for their photo, so, yeah, Chelsea, Chris, Jared.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.
But I also use a little argan oil every time now when it's dry.
For everyone.
There's the argan.
Hello.
Sex with a gorilla?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I'm the last human. By the way, I'm also part Neanderthal, so it's like, you know, it's just not too much.
If you're the last human, there's no one left to judge you. You can do whatever.
Like, and also,
Or arrest
like,
you.
what, you know, for life. Life must go on.
What if there's only like one more gorilla and you're both just...
I'm gonna have to connect with that gorilla. We're gonna have to, you know.
You do realize you're not gonna have a baby with this gorilla.
You never
You
know.
never know. I mean, you know, there are some, I mean, you know, we share a large amount of
I'm sorry I even mentioned it.
Where is it going? Something like, you know, like a horse and a mule, you know,
Okay,
that kind of
okay.
stuff.
To answer that question, I would just be naked. I would go to Nordstrom's. I would get all of the jewelry, and that would be like my new I would just
Who
like
would be
cover
impressed by
myself.
this look of you? The gorilla? Like, you got all this jewelry on, who are you trying to impress?
I would walk around looking like a chandelier.
Jewelry crew over there.
Jewelry crew.
Yes. Okay, we're off the rails, sorry.
Hello.
So I have a question. Your characters are all grounders and they all live in a post-apocalyptic world. What do you think your characters would do if, for Luis and Tasha, before they went into space, if they were suddenly transported into the modern world in 2022?
I think Rowan would be,
Bouncer.
no, I think he'd be like a,
I don't mean what they would do if they were born here. I mean, what would those characters do if they just woke up here one day?
Right.
I think he would, you know, like, you know, I don't know. He'd probably like go to Russia and fight Putin.
I was thinking like runway model, like wear a shirt.
He'd become a model.
He'd be a model.
He'd be like, oh, this is sweet, I got these scars.
Outdoor clothing.
He'd have like a good blue steel look, like.
Are you kidding me? I don't think I did anything but was still the whole time.
There was a moment when I was like, when I just discovered that Echo was a spy, I was like, oh man, I wonder what that's like, living in the world as a spy. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of obsessed with this now. So I was kind of like walking through the world, just kind of like looking at people, like seeing if they were seeing me. Then I was like kind of like hiding behind, and then like I had at home, I was like, I remember being like, I wonder how long I can go without being noticed. So I would like kind of skulk around, and my boyfriend was like watching TV, and he was just like, I know you're right there, Taz. And I'd be like against the wall, like, what do you mean?
This was early in your Echo development.
In my early like Echo development. And so I feel like if she woke up today, she would probably do that, but way better than I did. Yeah.
The more she just go running through the streets on a rampage, freaking out, I think, like sussing out the whole situation. And then once she got her bearings, she'd be like, all right, that's it. I am gonna con everyone here for everything they're worth.
You would love the technology in the modern world.
Yeah.
Her mind would be blown. She'd have a flip phone like Chris.
She within 2 months, she'd be like mining Bitcoin, she'd have NFTs, she'd be trading.
She'd build a car out of the Tesla.
She's like, that's it, I'll make it a cryptocurrency, you know, everybody join my, like.
An Amori crypto, I would buy that. Yeah, everyone would be all over that.
I feel like Echo would go to like a precision archery shop and be like, this is some serious archery technology.
Totally.
I want that bow right there.
Bro, I want to get a job at medieval times.
Yes.
It'd be amazing.
This is great. You don't even actually have to fight.
Exactly.
You just joust.
Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's tame this time.
Huh?
It's tame this time.
It is? This is tame? Okay, great.
So, I know Amori was like cast out, but do we know what plan she was actually born into? She Sangeti crew. Okay. It was Sangeti crew. Okay. Yeah, as far as I know.
Can you tell me more about that crew?
Sangeti crew, as far as I know.
Not to put you on the spot.
was in the sand, in the desert.
Right.
I was gonna say the desert crew. Desert crew, basically, yeah, desert folk. So lots of protection from the sun, lots of knowing where the water is. That's all I know about Sangeti crew.
Like big hoods.
Hoods, yeah.
Like the in Star Wars, like you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
With the
Yeah.
exactly.
Burning Man.
So my other question was for Tassia, and this is kind of not as tame, but season 7, you said, I don't know if it was in your panel or in the room, that she was out for blood because of Bellamy's death. And you kicked Clark's ass in season 5 over Maddie, but you hugged her when you found out that she killed. You hugged her when you found out that she killed Bellamy. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think at that point too, like, you know, I think like any person goes through like these evolutions of their experience in the world. And when you experience deep loss and suffering in different formats, you have also a more expansive compassion and understanding that things are sometimes wildly out of your control. And I think she was recognizing Clark's pain in that moment. And she also understands from a previous version of herself that sometimes you have to do, like, things happen that aren't how you would finish the story. But she could see in Clark that she was suffering, you know what I mean? And I think at that point it was more about, you know, sisterhood and coming in, like Octavia and Echo and Clark came together in that moment and had to be there for each other. You know, at that point they had jumped through universes, they had gone from the clans to, you know, Sky Crew coming in. There had been so much history between all of them. And so I think in that moment they absolved each other and they just held that moment together.
Thank you.
You're so diplomatic, Toss.
Awesome.
Was that? Yes, it was very good.
My question is, if your characters were on the ark before the 100% down to the ground, what job do you think they would have?
Ooh, grounders in space. Hairstylist.
Yeah, I think
You'd have a salon?
you'd be in charge of scarification.
Tattoo artist.
Tattoo artist. Would I have like a detective shop?
A shop.
A shop. I would have a shop.
Echo, private eye.
Yeah.
Totally.
You would maybe run like the security team's undercover crew.
Yeah.
Like if they had to just see if people were legitimately like running moonshine on the ark.
Running moonshine.
Yeah, is that a thing? Creating moonshine?
Moonshiner.
Yeah, or maybe
I would be the moonshiner.
You'd be the moonshiner.
What does that mean?
I don't know, the one who makes the moonshine.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought this, but I feel like Amori might run like the extracurricular activities. You know? Like
More specific.
Like a
like exercise and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like, no, very PG.
Like, you know, other kinds of extra.
Yeah. I feel like she would be, especially if you say she was like in a good place. And she's not She's not doing the tech stuff, because there's smarter people there maybe at this point, but
So is
she's
she doing like the workouts?
she's running with PE.
Oh, she's running PE class.
She's running swim class.
Yeah.
Yoga
Does she,
teacher.
Yeah.
does she wear like tearaways? Or like,
such a visual.
let's get into this!
You're fantastic!
Is she
You can
doing
do it!
pastels or
I love Sunday. I love Sunday. Black neon. Black and neon.
black neon?
Black and neon.
Oh, black and
Black and neon. Yeah.
Lots of spandex.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just saw her doing that.
And I feel like Lori and Raven would be BFF.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Hi.
I know a lot of people really wanted Clark and Bellamy to be together, but I really liked Bellamy and Echo together. So I just wanted to ask what your opinion of Bellamy and Echo's relationship.
I mean, I found it really beautiful, you know what I mean? Because it was really hard to play a character that like, you know, had no family and had no sense of what that meant or felt like. And so I felt like that was just a really, really beautiful gift for Echo. And I think as far as storytelling, that is also a beautiful gift for all of us. It's like the power of like when someone welcomes you into their family and shows you what love is, you know, and it can smooth the edges of your trauma and you can move through something. And so I thought it was great, you know, like I really liked that for her, and I thought it was really special. Yeah.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I just got a text. We started late and they have a hard out. They're waiting for you guys for photos. So unfortunately, we have to end early. Sorry, we got a late start.
Can we try to do like a quick
Quick, let's go.
I just want to ask Kasia if you could give us your iconic Conageddon line.
Oh my god, I'm so regretful I just even invited this.
So Echo was a spy and an assassin. So in season 6, she was hallucinating and she heard Queen Naia's voice in her head and it was off with her head. Who do you think that was in reference to? Because Lexa's previous love interest, her head was cut off. On orders of Queen Naia? Was it Echo? Have you ever...
Should we,
Kostya, I would assume.
should we give Jason a quick call?
No, we should not.
Jason, tweet the answer.
I think that might have been it, but I don't know. That was something that never got paid off. So, yeah.
Interesting. I totally just assumed Kostya because that's what was referenced. But yeah, I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Well, thanks to our grounder crew.